Hello everyone, viewers. When you hear the name Beelzebub, what comes to mind? A monstrous fly, buzzing with pestilence and decay. A grotesque demon, the very embodiment of gluttony and filth. This is the image that millennia of theology and folklore have carefully crafted, the Lord of the Flies. A name that makes your skin crawl. But what if I told you this image, as terrifying as it is merely a mask? What if the Lord of the Flies was once the Lord of the High Place? A celestial prince bathed in divine light. A seraphim whose wings once fanned the very flames of creation. Before the rot, there was radiance. Before the buzzing, there was a chorus. To understand the demon, we must first meet the angel he once was. This is the story of the being who stands second only to Satan. A tale of a fall. Our story begins not in the sulphurous pits of hell, but in the empyrean heights of heaven. In this realm of perfect order and blinding light, there existed hierarchies of angels, each with their role, their purpose, their unique song in the grand cosmic symphony. And among the most powerful, circling the very throne of God, were the seraphim, beings of pure fire and light, with 6 wings and voices that could shape reality. His name, in the ancient tongues of the Levant, meant Lord of the High Place or Exalted Lord. He was not a demon, but a magnificent principality, a governor of a celestial domain, a being of immense wisdom and authority. Imagine him, a figure carved from starlight, his presence a comfort and an inspiration to the lesser angels who served under him. His mind he was a perfect creation, a testament to the Creator's power. In this celestial court, Beelzebub was not alone. He stood alongside other titans of light, Michael, the great general, Gabriel, the divine messenger, and Lucifer, the morning star, the most beautiful and brilliant of all God's creations. It is said that Beelzebub and Lucifer shared a unique bond. They were not merely colleagues in Lucifer's charisma was legendary, his vision for the cosmos grand and ambitious, and Beelzebub, the exalted Lord, was his staunchest ally, his most trusted confidant. He saw in Lucifer not rebellion, but a desire for a more perfect order, a vision he believed would elevate all of creation. This loyalty, this profound admiration, would become the seed of his own damnation. The exact cause of Lucifer's rebellion is shrouded in theological debate. Was it the creation of humanity, a seemingly flawed and inferior species destined to receive God's grace? Was it pure, unadulterated pride, an inability for the morning star to bow to any but himself? Whatever the catalyst, the spark was lit. Lucifer began to weave a new song, a countermeasure. It was a song of self-determination, of power, of a destiny forged by one's own will, not dictated from on high. It was intoxicating, and Beelzebub was one of the first to hear its call. For him, this wasn't a betrayal of God. It was a testament of loyalty to his friend, a belief in a shared, glorious vision. He was no fool. He was a prince of heaven, a being of immense. When Lucifer raised his standard, a third of the heavenly host rallied to his side, and at the forefront of this rebel army, second only to the morning star himself, stood Beelzebub. The celestial war was not a clash of steel, but a cataclysm of wills, a war of light and shadow fought on the metaphysical plane. Imagine the sky tearing open, not with clouds, but with fracturing realities. Choirs of Beelzebub, the Lord of the High Place, was a terrifying force. His knowledge of celestial mechanics, once used to maintain order, was now used to shatter it. He led legions of angels into the fray, his power a match for any of Michael's loyalist commanders. The war raged, an eternity compressed into a single, horrific moment, and the cosmos wept. But they lost. They had to lose. As Lucifer was cast down, struck from the heavens like a bolt of lightning, his followers were dragged with him into the abyss. Beelzebub, the exalted Lord, fell, and the fall was not just a change in location, it was a fundamental corruption of his very being. The divine light that had once composed his form was extinguished, replaced by a suffocating darkness. His celestial song became a discordant shriek. He landed in the nascent realm of hell not as a prince of light, but as a being of profound despair and rage. The high place he once lorded over was now a memory of excruciating pain, a paradise lost forever. Down in the darkness, a new kingdom had to be built from the ashes of defeat. A hierarchy of hell was established, a dark mirror of the heavenly order they had abandoned. Lucifer, and who was his first and most trusted subordinate, his grand vizier in this empire of shadows, Beelzebub. His loyalty had not wavered even in damnation. He became a prince of hell, a duke of the infernal legions. But in the mortal realm, his enemies were already rewriting his story. The followers of the Abrahamic faiths, in their battles against the Canaanite pantheons, they took the name of Beelzebub, the exalted Lord, and deliberately corrupted it by changing just one consonant. Zebul became Zebub, Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies. This was not just a linguistic shift, it was an act of theological warfare. The fly in ancient cultures was a symbol of everything unclean. It swarmed over corpses, spread disease, and by renaming him, his enemies stripped him of his former glory and branded him with the sigil of putrefaction. He was no longer the lord of the high place, he was the master of rot, the king of filth. And as with many things in the supernatural realm, the name began to shape the reality. Over centuries of being invoked as the Lord of the Flies, his form in both the infernal and mortal demonic lore, like that found in the 17th century text, the Dictionnaire Infernal, depicts him as a monstrous fly, a creature of buzzing wings, spindly legs and compound eyes that see every form of human weakness. The transformation was complete. The radiant angel was gone, buried beneath an exoskeleton of chitin and malice. The celestial prince had become a cosmic pest. His specific purview became the sin of gluttony. But this isn't just about overeating. Beelzebub's gluttony is a far deeper, more spiritual hunger. It is the insatiable desire for more power, more wealth, more sensation, to the point where it consumes the soul. He tempts mortals to fill the spiritual void inside them with fleeting, physical pleasures. He whispers to the greedy king. He encourages a hunger that can never be sated, turning people into empty vessels, their souls devoured from the inside out, until all that remains is a hollow shell, buzzing with restless, unfulfilled desire. It is a perfect, poetic cruelty. The angel who once resided in the fullness of God's presence now presides over the kingdom of eternal emptiness. But his influence doesn't, as Satan's second in command. He is also a master of pride, the very sin that caused their collective fall. While Satan is the embodiment of rebellious pride, Beelzebub represents the pride of position and intellect. He tempts the powerful, the intelligent, and the pious. He whispers to the theologian that his knowledge makes him closer to God than others. He coaxes the politician into believing his authority. His goal is to create chaos and conflict by corrupting the very leaders and thinkers who are meant to guide humanity. In the famous accounts of the Salem witch trials, it was the name of Beelzebub, alongside Satan, that was invoked by the accusers. They saw him as the dark prince organizing the covens, the general marshalling the forces of witchcraft against the righteous. He was seen not just as a tempter, but it is a cauldron of ambition and betrayal, and the relationship between Satan and Beelzebub is one of the most complex in all of demonology. On the surface, Beelzebub is the loyal lieutenant, but can a being born of pride ever be truly content with second place? Some esoteric texts suggest a deep underlying tension. Satan is the charismatic emperor, the symbol of the rebellion. He commands the legions, manages the flow of damned souls, and oversees the vast network of temptation on earth. He holds the true, practical power. Does he resent his king? Does he believe, in the deepest recesses of his twisted heart, that he would be a more effective ruler of the abyss? Imagine their conversations in the throne room of Pandemonium, Satan waxing poetic about his grand defiance, and Beelzebub. The air between them would be thick with unspoken rivalry, a power struggle that has been simmering for millennia. Beelzebub's loyalty to Lucifer the angel may not extend to Satan the demon king. He waits, he watches, ever the strategist, perhaps for a moment of weakness, a chance to claim the throne he may feel he rightly deserves. If you are finding this journey into the abyss as fascinating as we are, now it helps us continue to unearth these forgotten stories from the shadows of mythology. Your support ensures that more of these celestial and infernal histories are brought into the light. Let's delve deeper into Beelzebub's methods. Unlike brutish demons who rely on physical torment, Beelzebub is a psychological predator. He is the master of the swarm. Think about the nature of flies. They are persistent, annoying. This is the very nature of his temptation. He doesn't strike you down with a single mighty blow. Instead, he sends a swarm of tiny, nagging doubts, petty jealousies, and small, seemingly insignificant desires. A little bit of envy towards a neighbor's success, a slight, lingering resentment against a friend, a small, self-indulgent habit that slowly grows out of control. He sends another, and another, and another. Soon, you are surrounded by a swarm of these negative thoughts and impulses. They drown out the voice of your conscience, they cloud your judgment, and they slowly, inexorably begin to consume you. This is his genius. He doesn't break your will, he erodes it grain by grain, until nothing is left. There is a famous story from the annals. During her exorcism, the demon tormenting her was identified as Beelzebub. The priests who conducted the rite documented the demon's words, spoken through the nun's mouth. Beelzebub was not a raving monster. He was arrogant, intelligent, and articulate. He mocked the priests, debated theology with them, and boasted of his power and his former glory. He spoke of his position in hell with immense pride, referring to himself as the Prince of the Seraphim. A clear, defiant reference to his pre-fallen state, he described in detail the organization of hell and his plans to corrupt the church from within. The account is chilling because it portrays Beelzebub not as a mindless beast, but as a fallen king, a formidable intellect who still carries the majesty of his angelic origin. His role extends even into the prophecies of the end times. While Satan is often seen as the ultimate antagonist, the Antichrist Beelzebub is the one who prepares the way. He is the lord of plagues and pestilence, both literal and spiritual. In a world consumed by Beelzebub's influence, truth decays, communication breaks down into a meaningless buzz of noise and disinformation. Society becomes he fosters a spiritual famine where people are full, yet starving, connected, yet isolated. He creates the perfect environment of decay for the seeds of the apocalypse to sprout. He is the great corrupter, the one who rots the foundations of the world to make it ready for his master's final, terrible reign. The buzzing of his wings is the soundtrack to the world's decline. So what are we to do with this terrifying figure? Or is there something deeper we can learn from the Lord of the Flies? The key lies in his symbolism. Beelzebub represents the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore, the nagging pride, the insatiable hunger for more, the petty jealousies that buzz in the back of our minds. He is the personification of spiritual decay. He is the proof that even the most beautiful things, the most exalted beings, can fall into ruin if they lose their... But it is also a story that contains a strange glimmer of guidance. How do you fight a swarm of flies? You don't fight them one by one. You clean the environment that attracts them. The battle against Beelzebub is not fought on some grand cosmic stage. It is fought within the quiet chambers of the human heart. It is the conscious choice to seek fulfillment, not in consumption, but in contribution. It is the discipline to say enough when the world screams for more. To defeat the Lord of the Flies, one must cultivate a garden in their soul, a place of order, cleanliness, and light where the agents of decay can find no purchase. The whisper of Beelzebub is powerful, but the will to be better, the quiet determination to seek light in the darkness, is more powerful still. He thrives on noise. Think of the last time you were endlessly scrolling, consuming content without thought, feeling a pang of jealousy at someone else's curated life, or indulging in a habit you knew was detrimental. That persistent, hollow buzz in your mind, that is the echo of Beelzebub's wings. He is a master of the mundane, turning everyday weaknesses into gateways for damnation. Recognizing that buzz for what it is, an external influence, a temptation, not an intrinsic part of who you are, is the first and most crucial step in reclaiming your inner peace. It is the act of identifying the fly before it can lay its eggs. This is the practical wisdom hidden within the horrifying myth. He is not just a monster from a book, he is a symbol for the universal human struggle against our own. So Beelzebub remains in his dark palace, second only to Satan, ever watchful, ever hungry. His story is one of the most tragic in all of mythology. A being of light, a prince of heaven, who, through loyalty and pride, chose a path that led to eternal darkness. He traded a song of creation for the buzzing of decay, a crown of light for a swarm of filth. He is a constant reminder that the fall from grace is always a possibility, that corruption is a patient predator, and that the greatest battles are often fought against the swarming, persistent whispers of our own inner demons. His tale is not meant to simply inspire fear, but to foster wisdom, a warning that we must be ever vigilant, not of monsters with horns and wings, but of the subtle, buzzing temptations that see. He is the shadow that proves the light was once blindingly bright. All right, that is all for today's video. We've journeyed from the highest heavens to the deepest pits of hell to uncover the truth behind the Lord of the Flies. If you liked this video, please subscribe and give it a like to support us. It truly helps us bring more of these epic tales to you. What do you think? Is Beelzebub a tragic figure or a purely malevolent force?